For military families, home is supposed to be the safe place. But News 13 has discovered families who paid to live in privatized housing on Kirtland Air Force Base are in danger there too. And families trying to get help have hit one dead end after another. News 13's Tim Maestas is on special assignment.
This is our address.
Michael Fratz calls it the house that got us sick.
From the outside, I mean, it was gorgeous. It had the ivy growing up.
But inside, it was a different story. Water damage and evidence of mold, she believes, wore down her family's health.
I would say within 2 to 3 months, we started noticing that we weren't feeling well.
Michael, her husband Brian, and their 3 kids were living on Kirtland Air Force Base. They moved into the house in question back in February of 2011. What eventually unfolded was a frustrating struggle, not with base officials, but with the private housing company that oversees all military housing here.
All we ask for is a safe place for us to go to sleep at night, just like everybody else wants.
Michael points to frequent communications with Kirtland Family Housing, the private housing company, as evidence that her concerns were ignored. In a July 31st letter, the housing office stated multiple inspections of the home have not identified any water intrusion or mold-related problems. But Michael and her family didn't buy that, so they paid out of their own pockets for an independent inspection. Assegai Laboratories in Albuquerque found significant mold contamination at the home.
Quite frankly, I've never seen them this high.
Bill Biava conducted the testing. He says more than 3 million spores of Aspergillus penicillin were found in one wall of the master bedroom. He also found other types of mold inside the home.
In this case, they were probably 3 times higher than what is considered for normal health.
Biava also tested another home on Kirtland Air Force Base.
My finger went right through it when we were in here poking around.
The house where this woman was living with her husband and 3 kids. Ariel did not want us to use her real name or show her face.
My kids were getting sick, like sick.
That sampling confirmed the presence of Stachybotrys, which is the black mold that everybody gets concerned about.
In the report for Ariel's home, Biava also declares significant mold contamination. Biava also says there's evidence Kirtland Family Housing may have tried to cover it up.
It's all caved in under there.
Ariel and Michael showed us the mold beneath a layer of plywood installed over the bottom of the cabinet under Ariel's kitchen sink.
That's all Stachybotrys.
Ariel also says Kirtland Family Housing has repeatedly denied the presence of mold inside her home.
They brought somebody in to do testing. They will not release their report to us. They keep telling us that it's negative.
For both families, much of the frustration lies with how little the military can help. In the eyes of Kirtland Air Force Base, it's something the families and the private housing office have to work out on their own. In a statement, base officials told us the agreement between the base and the housing office does not provide the base the authority to oversee or manage maintenance activity in the home. This is Tim Maestas calling from Channel 13. The director of Kirtland Family Housing did not respond to our phone calls. Instead, we got a statement from the housing office's headquarters in El Paso, Texas. Hunt Companies owns tens of thousands of military housing units across the country. Despite numerous letters referencing the family's concerns about mold contamination, the corporate spokesperson told us there have been no maintenance requests or complaints that have come in or are pending regarding the issue you mentioned.
We've gone to base, the commanders, and we're like, we need help, help us. And you know, it's out of their hands. They can't help us because it's privatized housing. And then you go to privatized housing and they just are like, there's not an issue.
We all expect really completely adequate housing that's clean, that's safe.
Relief could come in the form of a new bill sponsored by Virginia Congressman Scott Ridgell. He got involved after dozens of mold complaints from military families in his home state. The Military Housing Oversight and Accountability Act would grant military branches more oversight when it comes to housing on military bases. That's exactly what Michael and Ariel want to see.
I believe the military should be stepping in to help us.
Ariel and Michael say the problems go beyond just their homes.
I have heard from about 6 other families that have said they have visible mold but are too afraid to do anything because they don't want to be in the situation that we're in.
Tim Maestas, KRQE News 13.
After learning about our promos for this story, the spokesperson for the Hunt Companies contacted us again, this time acknowledging the families we interviewed. In a revised statement, Hunt still denies the homes contain mold. Kirtland Family Housing arranged to move those families to different housing units and clean their personal property, but those families insist the cleaning methods were not good enough.